Football is an endless race for the right to be first, or at least somewhere higher. As in Formula One, there are pit stops here too. Every 6 months, the pilots, who are also coaches, change tires, buy new players in the hope of breaking away from the pursuer or outrunning a competitor. Right now, Brazilian striker Endrik is in the garage of Real Madrid for the coming summer. Before the start of next season, he will officially move to Madrid. Endrik has not left the news feeds in recent months. For the first time, the striker's transfer to Real Madrid was discussed more than a year ago, when he was only 16. At the same time the transfer was arranged. So far, he is a player of his native Palmeiras, and a move to Madrid is planned for the summer of 2024. There's no way it's going to work out sooner. To sign a Legionnaire, he must be 18 years old. Real Madrid will pay 35 million euros. This is a record for all underage players in the history of football. Besides, the amount of 35 million is not final. Bonuses may well double it, but Andrew himself will not have to be smart yet. The salary of the Brazilian prodigy will be 2 million euros before taxes. In addition, the club and the player agreed to share image rights. Half of the cost of advertising contracts will go to Real Madrid. This clause in the employment contract is fully justified. Despite his young age, Endrik is fine with sponsors. He has already worked with Nike, and last fall he agreed with New Balance. The contract with Real, the move to Europe at the age of 18, the partnership with global brands. All this went to the heir of Neymar. This is exactly the characteristic given to Endrik in Brazil. Others compare him to Ronaldo Nazario, and he wants to be like Cristiano Ronaldo. Isn't it too much for a football player who has not played a single match in Europe yet, but spent less than half an hour on the field in the national team? Perhaps the comparison with Neymar is not only about dribbling and scoring flair. There are other intersections. For example, fathers play a big role in the lives of both. Andrew's dad's name is Douglas Souza, and he did a lot to make his son's football career happen. My parents got divorced, says Douglas Souza. I didn't have a father when I needed someone who would support me in difficult moments and help me with decision-making. Then I realized that in the world of football, it is very important that you are surrounded by the right people and family. That's why I always wanted to be with my son, just like my wife. I will always be there for you because I missed it when I was young. It was very painful to grow up without a father, and I will not allow my son to go through this. Endrik's childhood was very difficult. The family lived in a suburb of the Brazilian capital. There was not enough money for anything, but this, according to his father, motivated the future striker. Allegedly, he once said, "I will become a football player and get us out of poverty." The fact that Endrik is not deprived of athletic talent became clear almost immediately. He started kicking the ball at the age of 4, and after a couple of years in the football section, he was forbidden to play with his leading left foot, and it turned out too technically. Let him train his right hand. Of course, talent alone is not enough to build a career. Andrew should have been noticed by the scouts of the big clubs, so Douglas made cuts of videos with his son and posted them on YouTube. So he hoped to find a club for him. It was around this time that Endrik first entered the orbit of Real Madrid. However, in Spain, they did not know about him at that time. It's just that when he was 8, he was briefly sent to the football camp of the Madrid club in the capital of Brazil. It did not turn into something serious then. But soon a great chance really turned up. Endrik got into the Palmeiras academy. Previously, Sao Paulo was interested in the player, but negotiations between his father and the club reached an impasse. According to one version, Douglas Souza wanted the family to be provided with housing, but all they could offer him was 150 Brazilian reais per month, which is about the $30. I had to refuse such a generous offer. It turned out better with Palmeiras. Endrik got into the club system with his father. His son began playing for academy teams, and his dad got a job as a cleaner. Another story is connected with this time. Allegedly, Douglas Souza went to the dining room with the players, but took only soup. Palmeiras midfielder Jailson asked why the cleaner doesn't eat anything anymore. He admitted that he has only 8 teeth. Jailson was shocked. He sent Douglas to the dentist, and Filippo Melo arranged for Andrew to have a technical sponsor. In Palmeiras, they quickly became convinced that Endrik can do almost anything in an attack. He usually did not need much time on the field. Sometimes it was enough to come on as a substitute to completely turn the course of the match. Even partners are not always needed. Endrik himself is able to dribble through the entire defense, to break into the penalty area and beat the goalkeeper. Someone will say one person, others will say that he is a football player with strong individual qualities, and it is a sin not to use them. Endrik immediately stood out, said Academy coordinator João Paulo Sampaio. Shortly after the transfer, he scored against Santos with a shot through himself in the first match of the U11 State Championship playoffs. And in the second meeting, he scored the winning goal and brought his team victory. He is ready for anything on the field. Endrik is like a force of nature. The water is always flowing down. The flame is always rising up, and Andrew cannot be stopped. Copinha, the Sao Paulo Youth Cup, became decisive in the career of the young striker. It may not sound very representative, but it was at this tournament that many future stars of Brazilian football lit up at one time. For example, Neymar, Kaká, Vinicius. On January 22nd, Endrik scored 6 goals in 7 matches, including in the final against Santos, and all this at the age of 15. The striker was recognized as the best player of the tournament, and just from that moment, they started talking about him in Europe. Impressive statistics. By May, Endrik had scored 171 goals in 175 matches for the junior youth teams. The best evidence is that success on Copinha is not a one-time story. At the adult level, too, everything is fine with numbers. In the Serie A draw for 22 years, the striker scored in the 4th game after the debut, and last season he scored 11 goals in 31 matches. No wonder the hunt for Endrik began. Barcelona, Man City, Man United, Liverpool, and London Arsenal. Palmeiras received emails with offers to buy Andrew from all the top clubs, but it seems that he himself made a choice in favor of Madrid a long time ago when he got into the Real Madrid camp for 8 years. I dreamed of being there, recalled Endrik. I've always wanted to know if Real Madrid is interested in me. Money doesn't matter. It is my childhood dream and my father's dream to play for the largest club in Europe and the team for which my idol, Cristiano Ronaldo, played. Of course, success in Brazil does not guarantee anything for Endrik in Europe. He probably has the most difficult and responsible period of his career ahead of him. In addition, Real Madrid fans have been promised the arrival of Kylian Mbappé for many years, and the purchase of the young Brazilian looks like a replacement for the failed star transfers. And this brings us back to the conversation about high expectations. However, Endrik has great potential. He is fleet-footed, with excellent technique, starting speed, and a powerful punch. He is best given to playing in open spaces when you cannot share a sword, but run away into a counterattack, seat the defender on the 5th point, and outplay the goalkeeper. And he is also praised for his increased resistance to kicks, a good advantage and a clear trump card of the player when compared with Neymar. In a positional attack, Endrik has a harder time, primarily because of his self-obsession. It is a typical feature of many young football players who feel confident or even self-confident on the field. And if it works in Brazil, then they won't let you play like that in the Spanish Championship or the Champions League. You will definitely have to share the ball, which means sacrificing your own moments. It is unknown how hard it will be for Endrik to rebuild. In general, Real Madrid certainly risks signing a young football player, but how many times has the Royal Club won the Champions League? How many times have young football players grown into world stars within the walls of this club? Therefore, I am sure that this Brazilian talent will become a legend of our club and will rewrite history in golden words.